The race for the crown of 2024's most forgiving driver has just taken a huge twist. Initially, we all thought that the Ping G430 10K Max would be the most forgiving driver on the market this year. However, Titleist have just kind of snuck under the radar a little bit and now released their GT2 driver. I think this could be the most forgiving driver that I've tested in 2024. So today we're going to put these drivers head to head, both out here on the golf course and in the studio, to see just which driver I potentially find best for me. Guys, do me a favor, comment below which driver do you think would be best for you in 2024. Let's kick things off with the Ping G430 10K Max. I love this driver, but I hate that. Like the turbulators for me, I just never really liked them. They're almost off-putting for me when I look down at the ball. I do love that carbon fly wrap. I think that looks absolutely stunning, and that rear weighting is what helps 10K inertia or 10,000 inertia. So, without any further ado, let's kick things off. Par 5, second hole here at Waterfront Golf Club. A huge footprint behind this G430 10K. And that's a nice drive to kick things off. Just fading back towards that bunker. That bunker shouldn't really be in play. However, I think we may have reached it with the Ping. Let's see what we can do with the Titleist. Now, the Titleist for me, I like the look of this. It still looks traditional, yet it has a modern twist on it as well. It does have a multi-material design, which Titleist have never done before. And if you listen to this, you hear that, Bobby? Do you know what that's not? It's not titanium, you're right. And that's the first time Titleist have done that, but they were well aware that they can't just go and stick a carbon crown on there, because that wouldn't be Titleist. Titleist fans all over the world would hate it, yet they've managed to still keep it looking pretty nice. So that's really interesting. Let's see if we can. T-marks are awful, awful. Let's have a similar shot, maybe a little bit straighter. Oh wow. Just middle of the fairway, that one, Bobby. That is absolutely massive. Bobby can't believe it. Bobby just swore behind the camera there. Guys, let's get down there. Let's see exactly where these have finished. Didn't leave a tee mark bang in the middle though, did it? That's annoying. This is a turnout for the books. We have the Ping G430 10K Max here, just in the rough. It managed to carry that bunker. And I've just realised that we are in fact downwind, so that's probably helped us. But the Titleist, I mean, that is frankly ridiculous. This is a par 5 and we'd have like an 8 iron in there from this drive. Again, it's hard, it's bouncy, it's downwind, all those factors come into play. But when you're safely in the middle of the fairway there, especially because I'm not swinging at my best at the moment, I'll hold my hands up and say that, but I quite like doing these driver tests when I'm not swinging at my best, especially when we're testing forgiving drivers to show you guys which one could potentially be best. Let's hit some more then, let's talk some numbers for both these clubs. Guys, which one would you have? And we're going to talk sound and feel in a moment as well, because Bobby just mentioned something on that last tee, which I find very interesting and you guys may never have thought of. And you see, what I find really interesting about both these brands is that usually the people who buy these products are die-hard fans. If you're a Ping fan, you will have been using Ping drivers probably since the G5 days, into the G10, the G15, the G20, the G25, not forgetting the G15, so on and so forth. If you're a Titleist fan, then you will have had the 910, the 913, the 915, the TSI, TSR, all the rest of those. But when you do look down at both these clubs, it's amazing how different they do look. The Ping looks really, really futuristic. It has that carbon fly wrap, it has the turbulators, whereas the Titleist just features a really solid looking crown and of course that GT logo in the middle there. I do miss the days of Titleist having the fulcrum there. I do think that used to be very reminiscent of tradition. What should we go first? Shall we go Titleist first this time, I think? Slight dogleg to the right here. Can we hit another beast? Wow. Yeah, that sounded incredible, didn't it? And one thing that Bobby said on camera, or off camera should I say, on the last tee, is that with the Titleist, it's amazing how many golfers who aren't contracted to use a driver and get paid to use a driver use Titleist drivers. It was the same last year, it's going to be the same this year with the GT products. So many golfers use Titleist drivers who aren't paid to. I think that speaks volumes about how good these products are, although quite a lot of people use the Ping driver that aren't paid to as well. So that's one thing to bear in mind. Let's go again here, and let's see if we can play a nice low fade just like we've hit with the Titleist. This driver looks so big and forgiving, it really does. We're into the wind here, so the last thing you want to do is this ball to balloon up. I've actually slipped there and that one's done really well. I imagine it was a bit heely, so the spin rate might be up a little bit, and that may cost us some distance when it comes to hitting into the wind. Let's get down there, let's see where those are, and let's of course talk some numbers for both these drivers. So 2 balls in the fairway here, a lot closer together this time, and I'm quite impressed with the ping this time because we're bang in the middle of the fairway here. The Titleist down the left hand side, it's gone a little bit further, it's still in the fairway. That's going to be 2-0 to the Titleist for this test, but I'm really impressed with the strike that I put on the ping, just how central it's still finished and how far it's still gone into relation with what I thought was a wow strike with the Titleist. That's incredibly well done for the ping, but if we are just talking pure how far's it gone, then the Titleist is 2-0 up. Let's go and discuss some numbers. So kicking off the numbers in the studio with the Titleist GT2, and for me this driver feels, I don't know, there's something about it where I don't quite like the feel of it. Sometimes I feel like it's really forgiving, and other times I feel like potentially it's not quite generating the ball speed that I want. However, I can still hit some pretty good bombs with this driver. So personally, I actually think the ping feels better, you know, and that's not something I've ever said in a comparison between a ping driver and a Titleist driver in the past. But moving on to the Ping G430 10K Max, I really think Ping have hit it out of the park with this one. I don't know what they'll do next year, because the one disappointment I had with that Ping 10K Max was that they actually made you wait for it. They let people go and buy the standard version, not knowing that the 10K Max was coming with that carbon crown, because the LS Tech version feels fantastic with the carbon crown. The standard Ping doesn't feel that great because it's the normal crown, and then you look at this for a shot and you think, well, yeah. That's the one with the Ping that you just feel like is unbelievable for such a high spin forgiving driver. So for me, if we do start to come to some kind of conclusion about these drivers, for me personally, I do prefer the looks of the Titleist, I prefer the feel of the Titleist, the sound of the Titleist, and as you could see with the numbers there, the Titleist outperformed the Ping just ever so slightly when it came to the numbers. Let's have one last go. We're going to try and hit these as far as we physically can and really test the performance and of course the forgiveness on these 2 drivers. We'll go Titleist first this time, and let's just see if we can hit a little bit of a bomb down this fairway, hopefully. And that's what I really like about this GT2 head. I've gone after that one, I've hit it slightly heely, but you can see that again bounding down the middle of this fairway. That's what I really enjoy about this Titleist. I enjoyed it in the fitting, and I've enjoyed it since when I've taken it out to play. Let's go Ping and see if I can get a similar result trying to hit this as hard as we physically can, because generally that's what 99% of golfers will do when they are trying to tee off with the driver, just smash it into next week, don't they, Bobby? Head looks massive. Right, that's going to be interesting because they're exactly the same ball flight. The Ping's not moved quite as much, it's took a kick left. Let's get down there, let's see where these have finished, because I think that could be quite interesting. Now, one thing that I find really interesting as well is the calendar of these drivers, and by calendar I mean the kind of release phases of them. So we all know that usually you'll get loads of driver releases in January, you get the TaylorMade, you get the Callaway, and you get a couple of other big names that do release the drivers. Titleist are always different. Titleist always start seeding drivers towards the kind of back end of the year, and we start to get them September, October. So you can get this GT product, I believe, in a couple of weeks. But Ping, I don't really like what Ping did with the G430. I don't like that they had the G430 there, and basically it felt like the G430 wasn't ready, but they released it anyway, because the G430 LS was fantastic with that carbon crown, but then the G430 standard didn't have the carbon crown in it. They waited for the 10K Max to come out. You can see here that we have, I believe that is the Ping, so it didn't move as much, and then the Titleist further up again. So the Titleist has put, I mean, a good 20 yards on it there, hasn't it, realistically? And we've got ourselves the best part of 40 yards into this hole. Yeah, I'd be going Titleist all day. See you tomorrow, same time.